it's great to get a few minutes with Arun, who is a business unit analyst at Micron. Arun, thank you for taking time.
Absolutely. Love to be here. And thanks a lot for this initiative,
Great.
Viraj.
So let's start with a little bit of an introduction. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's in India, from MBSR, like in Hyderabad. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering and I graduated in 2015, right? And then I worked there for a couple, like 3-4 years as a applications consultant for an industrial software company called Aviva. And then I moved to US to pursue my master's in industrial engineering and operations research at UC Berkeley. And this was around 2019. And I joined this Master of Engineering program, which is like a 1 year program, which is both technical and leadership focused. So I graduated in 2020 amidst of like all the COVID issues that happened, and then I started working for Micron since July 2020, and I've been there. It's been 10 months there. Yeah.
Phenomenal. So
Mhm.
let's talk about the timing of beginning the job search as you were, in your 1 year year in the US.
Right.
When did you start searching for job opportunities?
Yeah, that's a good question. So usually, when I was like trying to move from India to US, I had my friends or my seniors, whom I reached out to, and the most important thing they said is you need to start as soon as you reach, or if it's possible, just start. So it's internet, right? You could start from India as well. Once you get your visa, that's when you start searching for jobs and looking for jobs. Like LinkedIn has been a great resource. So
Mhm.
I would say as soon as I landed, I got a chance to settle down for a week, and then ever since I try to reach out to like apply jobs on LinkedIn. Try to get my resume updated, and then also reach out to people on LinkedIn. And this program in Berkeley also helped us a lot on how to do cold mails,
Mhm.
emailing and stuff. So which has been pretty useful in my case.
Got
Yeah.
it. So now, if you were to look back,
Mhm.
what advice would you have given to yourself in regards to the timing of beginning your job search?
Yeah, I would say like at the beginning, what I did is that I just randomly applied. I was like, let's see. It's like keep on hitting, and at least one of them will work out, right? That's not how you do it, but you should properly reach out to these people. Networking is key, which I tried to overlook at in the beginning when I moved,
Mhm.
and like building those connections and also reaching out to these people on LinkedIn and maybe taking them out for a coffee. And it necessarily doesn't mean as soon as you like reach out to them, you shouldn't ask for a referral. In the end, we know each other that since you're interested, you might ask for it, but it shouldn't be upfront. So I think these were the ones which I could take away from it. And the other important thing was also like communicating, like exactly knowing what role you're interested in
Yes.
and why you need it,
Yeah.
and and it's just like I need this role, and not just reach out for these people. Know about the company, do the research what they're doing. This is when if you reach out to these people, they would be more happier to answer your questions and ask them questions about their role and how the company is performing. In this way, it would be more organic rather than you just you asking for a referral. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So let's talk about the approach for searching for jobs. I
Mhm.
mean, again, going back to, I guess, the first week when you were in the US, the first week you said that you started searching for job opportunities as soon as you were here.
Right.
How did you first approach your job search? What were you doing initially?
Right. So initially, I would say like my career like team at Berkeley had these openings, like the career fairs that they had, where the companies already reached out to the incoming cohort, and we had a few openings which you could apply. And
Okay.
I don't think that's going to be same for every individual, right? So what I basically did is again like LinkedIn. I've to be honest, before before I haven't moved, I never worked on my LinkedIn profile. So the biggest thing I would say advise someone is work on your LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn jobs is your like go-to place. And
Yes.
also figure out what you want to do. I know it's difficult for you to know what you want to do, but if you have the like area of interest, let's explore the companies and go apply on their website, and then as soon as you do that, and also research on LinkedIn and different areas where you could see these people who are working there and then reach out to them. So I basically started with applying directly on their company's portal, and eventually it didn't work out, right? And then LinkedIn was another way to meet people. And then definitely, I think all these universities have career fairs as soon as you move in, like in a month or two.
Yes.
Go for those career fairs. It's not like this company I'm not interested. Just go for it and make your homework properly. Just don't go there for the sake of it and then see.
Yes.
But go through the list of the companies that are coming in, and then see what interests you and prepare questions. What are you gonna ask? You're gonna have like what 2 minutes or 1 minute of their time, and they're gonna go through what hundreds of people, students on that day. So you need to make sure have this elevator pitch, which like we usually say, like prepare yourself and then draw their attention is
Yeah.
basically it. Yeah,
Absolutely. Like how would you stand out, right? Like I think
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
that's what you need to start thinking about.
yeah.
Because like you
And the
mentioned.
other thing is, Viraj, so I don't think this is an issue, but you could definitely, if you see yourself like liking that role, and if you see the person whom you're talking to in that career fair is active and very intrigued about what you're talking about,
Mhm.
ask for his LinkedIn profile. There's no harm in asking for it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and their email IDs. So yeah, they're willing to share for it, and there might be cases where they don't. So they just don't get bogged down by it. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, when we go into these career fairs, we have a lot of biases in our mind, and we tend to not take actions because we think someone might think about our
yeah,
questions, and I guess like dinge us for asking those questions, but it's really not the case. Like if you have a
absolutely.
question, just have to ask for it. Like you mentioned, like if you want to really connect with that person and ask for their LinkedIn, just go for it. Like there's no harm
Yeah,
in doing that. Great. So now, if you were to look back,
right.
what advice would you have given to yourself specifically in regards to searching for job opportunities? Would you have done something different? Would you have changed your approach a little bit?
Uh, I mean, a bit. I would say approach, because I was in a major where I was either I could go at either technical, like onto the so industrial engineering and operational research was mostly on optimization analytics, and we also had the data science aspect of it. So I was really confused which way should I go,
Yes.
and then should I go to the management side like a program manager or apply for the those positions, or go for a technical role. So I was in a mix, and also I didn't work properly on my resume,
Okay.
which is the biggest issue. So working on my resume, hitting those key points, like always providing A equal to B, like how much did your impact? Like
Yes.
if you say I've done this much, so give a qualitative figure of it or a
Absolutely.
quantitative figure of it. So I think those were the key points, and I also try to be brief, uh, and also bold or highlight these points which you feel are going to impact whenever you're giving the resume out. So yeah, I think those were the key points I would say, and I eventually learned more about it. Like 1 or 2 months I was in my program. It's
Yes.
like, and that's when I started getting more job interviews.
Nice.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the next portion in regards to like the interviews, like you mentioned. You touched a little bit on that.
Right.
So
Mhm.
getting interviews. What were you doing to actually get interviews for the positions that you applied for? I know we have applied for like tons of positions via
Right.
LinkedIn or even through career fairs or even online. Was there
Mhm.
anything in particular that you were doing to actually get interviews from some companies you were extremely passionate about, or some roles that you were really interested in?
Oh yeah, so I had this for a company where I was really interested in a product manager role,
Okay.
right? So I got to meet this person who was an ex alumni who was also from Berkeley, who was working there. So basically, I gave them my background and why I'm interested in that role, and I made sure that they know how important this role is going to be for me and how well I can perform. So like keeping it clear and honest conversation with that person,
Hmm.
and eventually it was not like the next day morning you don't get a call. So
Yes.
they're gonna of course go through a filtration process, and the passion or the way you approach and talk to these people. And also, yeah, I forgot to mention this. Always, like once you're done talking to these people, just follow up.
Yes.
Just say them, I had a great time talking to you. I mean, that is how you would like they would remind you, remember you, right? So I used to do that. And then, yeah, that was my first interview. I got an opportunity as a product manager, which eventually didn't turn out to be, but that was a good starting point,
Yes.
at least for me to see how the interview process happened here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think that's all from my side. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's a great one. So like, you actually wanted to work for a particular role or for a particular company.
Right.
Uh, you really reach out to that person and like making sure that it's clear that, hey, like I'm really interested into this particular opportunity. I would love to work for this company, and that's how you got the interview. So like that's a great way to actually get an interview.
Mhm.
Now, if we were to look back,
Right.
would you have done something more or something differently in regards to specifically getting interviews for the roles that you applied for?
Uh, yeah, so there was a role which I applied for Amazon, and Amazon like mass hires, to be honest. So yeah, there were
Yes.
pretty different hundreds of roles, right? So the thing was, I applied for like one was a technical role and one was a like management role, right? So in the end, what happened is in the interview, I don't know, it comes across they talk with each other or the hiring managers. It was difficult for me to like finalize which way I want to go. And also the interview process, it's like it is difficult for you to get a like an interview call from Amazon right away. So you need to show them like on your resume. And also, I didn't get this through a career fair, right? So I had to apply online. I had to apply different job positions, and make sure that my resume gets there.
Yes.
So, and Amazon, I think, is one such company which like values people that are applying directly and not through referrals.
Hmm.
So I think that is how I got to like since my resume, I started working on my resume. That is how I got to like show my impact and show how fit I am for that role. And that is how I got an interview from Amazon.
Got
Yeah.
it. Nice.
Mhm.
So let's talk about your preparation for interviews.
Right.
How did you prepare for the interviews that you got?
Oh, yeah, that was a great question. So, yeah, so interviews, you never want to like miss out on those opportunities. Those are the golden moments, right?
Yes.
So, what I definitely did was for that role which I'm applying, I used to search on LinkedIn who are already in that company, who have been doing that role,
Nice.
or also who are in the people who are in a different team, or anyone who knows about that role, or the manager. So I reached out to those people and just had a normal, honest conversation with them and see how fit I am for that role. And I spoke with what 3 or 4 people who are already in the role that I am currently doing, and take notes. There's no problem. Like always take note. That has been a career like a handy tool for me. And yeah, always ask questions and see. There's no wrong question you can ask.
Yes.
And since you're going to apply for a new graduate role, right? And they're going to be easy to talk to as well, and they would exactly know what things you're facing during your job search. So be honest about it and always ask questions about your role, and of course definitely know about the company before you start asking questions, and also like keep it more active, not on a one way, make it two way, and then be proactive, I would say.
Got it. Uh,
Mhm.
Now, if you were to look back, would you have done something differently in regards to preparing for your interviews?
Oh yeah. So the thing was, I got carried away, or from people who are already applying, like your friends. They would say, "Do this, you might stand a chance." Or let's say, like for case interviews or case studies that you do for a PM role, right? I used to follow this guy called Victor Sheng, which was really good, but I was following what others were doing, and I was trying to like get best at it, but that is not what I want to do. So just don't listen to what others are
Mm-hmm.
doing, and just try to pay attention, but not do whatever they're trying to do. So, and there are like n number of resources that might help you, but the fun thing is like know what you want to do and then reach out to the people that can help you doing that. There might be people who might not respond.
Yes.
So on LinkedIn as well, I used to like reach out to what in the same company. I used to message what 10 people a day or a week, you could say, and then at least one of them might respond. If not, you can carry another 10 more people you can chat with. So yeah, I think that is a really important thing, I would say.
Yeah. So to reflect back on, great.
Hmm.
Let's pivot towards some company-specific questions.
Sure.
How did you come across the specific role of business unit analyst at
Yeah.
Micron?
Okay, so like this was while in October, like we had this career fair, and then there were a number of companies, right? And I personally wanted to be, I was unsure, to be honest, which role I want to go into. So I wanted like a rotational program that exposes me on the business side of things and also takes me through different roles. So while I filtered down, there was few rotational programs. Amazon had one, and like Micron also had one. So and luckily Micron came for that career fair. So I got a chance to talk to the person like the representing the Micron, and we had a fun conversation, and it was really interesting about to know more about the role,
Mm-hmm.
since I already expressed them why I'm interested in looking for it. And also he said he tried to scare me away. Like, that is how they would know how whether you're really interested or not. So he said like it is the conversion rate is what 5%. It's very low. So there are like hundreds of people applying, only 5 or 10 people get through. Like, okay, whatever. So I just want to learn more about the role, right?
Yes.
So yeah, well, and then October went, and then I kept on like have I got his LinkedIn address, right? And then I kept in touch with him, and since they already started hiring, the role was not open. So and then in December they had a new role that they started open. So since I was already in touch with this person, I I stayed in touch with him and tried to learn more about this role and also about the company and the culture. This is when he felt it was important for him also to refer me for that role, since I had this connection built for over 3 months, right? So yeah, he referred me, and then I got the first interview done, and then yeah, it went on. There are like 6 or 7 interviews that happened, and yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Got it.
Hmm.
So, how did you actually get the interview for the business unit analyst role at Micron? I don't know you touched a little bit on that, but
Right.
like you came across that particular role.
Hmm.
Now getting the interview. Like, how did you do that? How did you actually get the interview?
Okay, okay. So, honestly, I was not expecting for that person for me to ask that person to refer me,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it is because of the connection I was able to build with him. I mean, for people, it might be a week, but since there were no roles that have been
Yeah,
opened in that company, and I was really interested in for that role, and I got to know that from him that there might be a new opening coming in
coming soon.
December,
Yes,
Jan time. So this is when I was like, okay, this is the time for me to also look for different companies and roles, but simultaneously not let go of this relation I established with this person.
yes,
So I made sure I kept in touch with him, and as soon as the role opened, he reached out to me,
beautiful.
like saying that this is a role that's open, and dude, like honestly, they also get referral bonuses. So it's not
Yes,
like they're just doing you a favor. It's they're also benefiting from it, right? So I'm glad, and I'm really grateful that he remembered me and reached out to me, and I sent my resume, and then so since he's already in the company, and I think my resume went to the hiring manager, and then the HR reached out to me directly for an interview.
wow,
So they have the first round of phone call, where they say you're fit or not. So yeah,
that's
basically.
great. That's so unique, right? Like you build that
Mhm.
relationship, and even though at that time the position was closed, still like you
Yeah.
maintain that relationship with that person in that company at
Right.
Micron. And when the position did get opened in December, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
uh, that person remembered you because of that relationship that you maintained and reached out to you. And then before you know, you had your first interview lined up. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so what was the interview process like? Once you got the referral and you got your first interview, how many interviews? What was the cadence like? And can you talk us through that?
Oh, sure, sure. So I think it's not going to be the same for every company, but usually what they do is, for me, what happened is they had the screening round where like the hiring HR reached out to me and asked me why I'm interested in this role. We had like a fun 20-25 minutes conversation. It was not technical, and then it was basically understanding why I'm interested, and she was able to assess whether I am like a good fit or not, and then moved on to a second phone interview with a like a business unit manager at Micron.
Hmm.
And then yeah, we had a conversation on my resume about all the different things I worked on, and it was not too technical, but there were few things that I always remember. Like Varun, my friend, he always tells me that ask good questions. So having proper questions that you build on the back and asking them at the right time is
Yes.
really crucial. So this is how they would know you are actually interested. So just don't ask for the sake of it, but do your homework properly. So once I cleared my second phone interview, this is when they had this like a in-person interview rounds where they had like 5 rounds of interviews, each lasting for 30 minutes. So
Okay.
we had to go to the office, and then yeah, we were given a speech from like the vice president, and then like the CBO, like chief business organization officer. And then we had 5 rounds of interviews, each lasting 30 minutes. And don't think about 5 interviews, oh, I can't do it. Like once you get into the first interview, it goes like a flash.
Yes.
So yeah, and you try to see how the like read the room basically, how is it going and all that, and try to make changes. So yeah, after that we were luckily Micron is a company where they let you know immediately. Like they'll take 1 hour of time, and then they'll invite each of the candidates and let you know what you did right and what you did wrong,
Hmm.
and then they'll give you a decision. So which is really good feedback, because not many companies give you a feedback if you're not hired.
Wow.
So that is a really important thing that people always like hate about companies. Why am I not why can't they give me a feedback? So I
Yes.
think, yeah, that is a crucial point that made a change. So yeah, after that I got selected, then yeah.
Got it. So that kind of brings us to the next question. How
Mhm.
long after the interview did you
Mhm.
get the offer?
Oh yeah, I was for Micron. I was offered right away on the same day.
Okay.
And like I can talk about my other friends. Like they were off. It took them a month for a friend of mine to get the offer officially, but they would say that they really like you, and they will come up with an offer.
Got
So
it.
it might take a week, it might take a month. So like just keep in touch with them, and don't let go of your other interviews that you're going through just because you got this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great.
Uh-huh.
Any last piece of advice to any international student
Mhm.
who is seeking a full-time job opportunity in the US?
uh, Never hesitate to reach out to people. I know there are we are come from different backgrounds, and in India, like we try to see like reach like we have this respect for our elders, and then coming out into the US, you're trying to find hesitate to reach out to people, and then it's not the same culture here. So they encourage you to reach out to people and talk to them. So communication is always important. So don't hesitate to reach out, and definitely like referrals. I think there are this negative like uh, like context with referrals. I've seen people use it as, oh, you got it because of a referral. So
Hmm.
that's not the thing. So
Yes.
referral is a really important key aspect, but that doesn't mean the job is guaranteed. So
Exactly.
it just gets you ahead of the other, automated system of resume collection filing, right?
Yes.
But then it just puts you in front. Then you still have to fight your way through the interview processes.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
don't think it in a negative way. I initially thought, to be honest, in that way. It's never that. Always, you deserve what you like, prepare for. So don't try. There might be people who might bog you down. That don't listen to them. Just go for the referrals if you find an opportunity. Yeah,
Amazing. Well, Arun, it was an absolute pleasure to get a few minutes with you. Thank you for sharing your insights.
absolutely, Viraj.